Good morning, Bhargav and Uday. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, and here's a heads up brief for today. Today's production to our clients consisted of a total of 85 issues. In East Asia Pacific, we covered 45 issues, in South Asia, 24 issues, and 16 issues in the EMEA region. I will be briefing you on the major issues of today's production.
Hey, Bassel. Yes, let's discuss the major issues today.
In East Asia Pacific, I'll be covering the top 3 of the 45 issues. In PNG, 2 security firms will continue to be stationed in East New Britain province following the recent surge in crimes and violence in Rabaul town. Black Fox Security Services and NKCL Security will assist local police in patrolling the access road between Rapallo Junction and Rabaul town. This could help in maintaining law and order in the province.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see whether these security firms can help in managing security, given the increase in criminality and gang violence in East New Britain specifically over the last few months. So tell the team to monitor this. Thanks.
Sure, they. In Indonesia, the Counterterrorism Special Detachment 88 arrested 59 suspected terrorists across the country in October. 40 of the suspected terrorists are believed to be members of the Islamic State-affiliated Jama'ah Ansharut Dawla. The police arrested 23 suspects in West Java, 11 people in Jakarta, and 6 people in Central Sulawesi. They had plans to conduct attacks during the 2024 general election. So the recent uptick in the arrest of terror suspects coincides with the increasing security measures ahead of the 2024 elections. The raids also show the spread of terror networks across the country. We covered this as a major development in Southeast Asia today.
Thanks, Bassel. Yeah, this is quite an interesting one. I think this is the highest number of terrorists arrested in a month. This is definitely the highest number of jihad terrorists arrested this year, or even over the last year. The main terror threat comes in Indonesia, not from Jama'ah Islamiyah, which has been in the news a lot lately, but from Jama'ah Ansharut Dawla, although it has weakened significantly in Densus 88. Yeah, so although Densus 88 has done a lot to counter terrorism in the country, the risks still exist, and there will be a risk during the election as JAD tries to disrupt the election process. So let's keep a close eye on this. Thanks.
Yes, we'll keep monitoring this closely. In China, mainland China will no longer require health declarations for entry and exit, except for those with infectious disease symptoms from today onwards. This change simplifies the process for travelers, particularly Hong Kong residents.
All right, thanks.
In South Asia, I'll be covering the top issue of the 24 issues. In Bangladesh, a rapid action team from Border Guard Bangladesh was deployed in Dhaka yesterday to maintain security during the 3-day nationwide blockade proposed by the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. The Rapid Action Battalion also deployed more than 300 teams across the country to prevent any untoward incidents during the BMP's movement. This represents a significant security escalation before the commencement of the 2024 elections. We covered this as the major development in South Asia today.
Yes, the RAB battalion is a capable law enforcement unit. They have been proactive in cracking down on some of the active terror cells across the country, and they're being used to contain the fallout of the rallies ahead of the elections. We'll have to see how this evolves ahead of the elections. And what's more surprising is who is actually driving the rallies and the protests against the incumbent Awami League party, because the BNP leadership is fractured, and both acting and the president are either hospitalized or out of the country, and they have been sentenced multiple times on multiple terror charges. So let's keep a close eye on these protests ahead of the elections. Thank you.
Sure, Bhargav, thanks. In EMEA, I'll be covering the top 2 of the 16 issues concerning the relationship between US and Ukraine. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin yesterday said that Russia would succeed in Ukraine unless US support continues. This came after Secretary Austin and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken testified to the Senate Appropriations Committee. So Austin's statement underscores the US's view that sustained support is crucial for Ukraine to resist Russian advances. This is also reflective of a growing Western consensus that Russian forces will succeed in the long term in this war. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
All right, this unfortunate is a case of a major power chasing its own tail without a clear plan of action and an end game. And they are talking about sustained support, but to what end? Do they have an end in sight? And will they be able to support Ukraine to get rid of Russian forces from the Ukrainian territory? So that's something to look out for, but unfortunately this basically means there will be no end in sight for the war in Ukraine.
Yes, that's 100% true, Bhargav. Concerning, here's also an update on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Around 8,500 Palestinians and 1,500 Israelis have been killed. The IDF attacked the Jabalia refugee camp in Gaza yesterday. At least 100 people have died. The US Secretary of State Blinken will visit Israel on November 3rd. The IDF has also intensified its operations in the West Bank. Also, in a significant development, the Houthi rebels yesterday declared war against Israel. The militant group claimed that it launched several ballistic and winged missiles as well as drone attacks against Israel last night. The possibility of a region-wide conflict is growing with Houthis' declaration of war against Israel. This could potentially draw Iran's direct involvement in the conflict, given Tehran's close ties with Houthi and Hezbollah. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
Yes, so the declaration by the Yemeni group, the Houthis, does come as a bit of a surprise, though there is a significant distance between Israeli borders and Yemen. But what needs to be noted here is that Yemen is a country where even the sovereign authority doesn't have control over its own territory. And one of its group is getting involved in a potentially regional conflict. And that says a lot about the paradoxes of this particular conflict across the region. There's no denying that there are excesses committed across the board, but there are things which need to be seen in perspective. And that is especially true for some of these countries which need to gain control over their own territory first and then jump into supporting either of the parties. And this applies to quite a few countries, including Yemen, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and a few others.
Yes, Bhargav. I will be monitoring this closely, especially in the coming days and weeks. That's all for today. Anything else from your end or Uday's end?
Nothing further from my end. Thank you.
No, thanks, Bassel.
Thank you.